Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by.
Your Honor, I'm Kevin Montoya, Vice President of the Yakima County Bar Association. It is with sadness that I inform the court of the passing in the last couple of years of 3 members of our Yakima County Bar Association, Fred Porter, Ron Scala, and Mark Cox. We're here today with members of the bar, family, and friends to honor these 3 members. I turn it over to you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The 2 people that I knew the best were Fred Porter and Ron Scala. I didn't know Mark very well. I just knew him, talked to him. I think it's wonderful that we are now reviving what we have done for years and years in this county, memorial services for our lawyers and judges who have passed from us.
First of all, thank you, Kevin, for giving me this chance to recognize Mark. And first off, I want to introduce special guest here as well. Mark's wife, Brooke Cox, is here with her oldest son, Caleb, who's also been, the other kids are being carefully watched. Colin and Chase and Abigail and Eli. As the judge indicated earlier, there'll be some more formal resolutions read into the record later. We'll talk more a little bit about Mark's life. But I'm grateful for this chance to share some more personal memories of Mark. I've only been here in the bar or in the area for just about 3 years. And shortly after moving to the area, we started going to church in the same congregation that Mark attended. And he immediately knew that I was a lawyer. He was also a lawyer, and I felt like he took me under his wing in a way. I remember, well, Mark started practicing here in Yakima at the Bell County Moore and Shore office, and I'm at the Bell County Harvest office now. And I remember Mark and his wife inviting my wife and I over to dinner, and I felt like Mark felt the need to warn me about the likes of Kevin Montoya and a few others that were over there. And so we had a good time, but he's always helped me and encouraged me and given me good advice on what he thought I should do to be successful here in the county. Some few other stories that really make me smile. Everyone knows that Mark loved having fun. And one of the things that Mark loved doing was watching movies. And one time, Mark convinced a group of us to get together to go watch a movie. And this happened to be when my wife was 9 months pregnant, about ready to give birth. And so, going to have fun with Mark, we go see this movie. I get home very late. And of course, a few hours later, my wife goes into labor and we have the baby the next day. So that's a very happy memory I have of Mark convincing me to go to a movie, even though my wife's just about to have a baby. I know that Mark, he started out in a larger firm, but eventually started his own practice. He was a sole practitioner for a while. And I know that that wasn't easy always for Mark. I remember one time him calling me up and just telling me about this case that he was working on and his thoughts he had, how the law applied to the facts. And I could tell that it was just good that he could at least speak to another attorney and make sure his ideas were good and that he wasn't off track somehow.
Mr. Anderson, hold the mic closer.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Most of where my interactions were with Mark were working in a young men's organization in our church. And I know that Mark you can describe him as passionate. And one thing that he was definitely passionate about was the young men that ages 12 to 18 that we serve and work with together. Just concerned for their welfare and their particular challenges. Mark was a great friend. He's an example to me as a young attorney. And I'm proud to have been able to meet and interact with him in the time that I had here before he passed on. And with that, Your Honor, I'll turn the back over to you.
Thank you.
When he first came in, he was scared to death. And once he got beyond being frightened of my staff or myself, then there was a connection that he made. And he would come in and have nothing else to say hello, and it was very welcome. And
helped babysit from time to time. Now, I'm expecting my first next month, so maybe you're available. I don't know. But I just wanted to remember Mark, because he is such a great person and a good friend. We he was always good and kind to look me up in Tri-Cities. He always came to my office at a lunch break and would say hello, find me at court, do those kind of things. And so I know we've talked a lot about all the people who we're remembering today, but I think we'd be remiss to not remember the fabulous person, good friend, and of course, the good family man that Mark was. He now has 5 kids. The family has grown, and I'm glad that we can be still in distance and keep in touch. And so I just want to take this opportunity to give my respects to them and to remember Mark.
Kenneth Mark Cox. My dad was very proud of his huge Gonzaga diploma, and I should probably feel a little bit more bad than I do about anytime my dad would barbecue anything, I would always lock him out, make him dance. But I would also like to thank you for babysitting. And the thing I admire most of my dad has got to be his wisdom and guidance to me, my brothers, and my sister, because that is something that has really helped me. Yeah.
Whereas the Yakima County Bar Association has been informed of the passing of Kenneth Mark Cox on June 30th, 2011, one of its members. And whereas the association wishes to express its sadness at the passing of this greatly admired and respected member, and further to give its condolences to his family. And whereas Mark was born in Pullman, Washington on December 16, 1976, and at the age of 6 moved to the Dalles, Oregon, where he grew up and participated in many activities with his family and church, including student government, football, school activities, and the Boy Scouts of America, in which he attained the rank of Eagle Scout. After graduating from high school, Mark attended Ricks College in Rexburg, Idaho, but took a 2-year break from his studies to serve as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Argentina, where he became fluent in Spanish. After returning from Argentina, Mark met Brooke Christensen, and Mark and Brooke were later married in Salt Lake City, Utah. After Mark finished his associate degree at Ricks College, he transferred to Southern Utah University, where he graduated with honors. Mark then continued his education by attending Gonzaga University School of Law in Spokane, Washington. Prior to starting law school, Mark and Brooke had already been blessed with the birth of their first son, Caleb. And before Mark's graduation from Gonzaga, 2 boys, Colin and Chase, were added to the family. Mark began his law practice in Yakima with the law firm of Velicanye, Moore, and Shore, and eventually opened his own practice in Sunnyside after purchasing the practices of Charles Shoemaker and John Maxwell. Mark was a successful, hardworking attorney, maintaining offices in both Yakima and Sunnyside. Immediately prior to his death, Mark was taking steps to expand his growing practice and associate with Yakima attorney Timothy Hall. Mark and Brooke's family continued to grow after Mark began his legal career in Yakima, with additions to the family of a daughter, Abigail, and most recently another son, Eli. Mark's life showed that his highest priority was his family and his church. Mark was a dedicated husband and father who deeply loved his wife and was closely involved in the lives of his children. One thing that Mark freely gave his children was his time. Time conversing, teaching, coaching, camping, wrestling, cooking, playing together, working together, and being together. Mark was an outspoken and dedicated member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Those who interacted closely with Mark knew of his consistent desire to share his faith with others. During his schooling, practicing law, and raising a family, Mark also served in volunteer church positions. In his most recent positions prior to his death, Mark was a member of the Yakima Stake High Council, after which he served as a member of the Yakima Fifth Ward Bishopric. Mark was also involved in the community, serving on the Memorial Foundation Board and teaching business law at Yakima Valley Community College. On June 30th, 2011, Mark passed away in his home of a brain aneurysm. He is survived by his wife, Brooke, his 5 children, Caleb, Colin, Chase, Abigail, and Eli. His parents, Kenneth and Carol Cox, his siblings, Nicola and Eric Larson, and Deborah Cox, and many sisters and brothers-in-law and nieces and nephews. Whereas the association recognizes that one of its own, who contributed to making the Yakima County Bar recognized around the state of Washington, has passed on, and wishes to properly commemorate his passing with all due honor and memory of a dedicated attorney, husband, and father, and an example to us all. Now, therefore, be here resolved that this resolution be spread upon the records of the Superior Court of the State of Washington, that a copy of this official record be presented to his family with our fondest regards and memories. And Your Honor, if I may, in recent conversation with Brooke, she told me that she asked the kids if they could have 1 hour with Mark, what would they do? Kayla mentioned, I just want to ask you questions and talk to you. And Colin said, I just want to sit by you. And Chase said, I'd want him to show me that soccer play again, or do that soccer play again. And a word to you, Brooke. In these last 7 months, we've only been amazed at your strength. Thank you.